Today on Dr. Phil, he broke her nose.
One time I threw away Tim's fast food and he freaked out.
I punched Brittany in the face.
And then you're criticizing her for getting blood on the floor. That made you madder.
It did.
Broke her heart.
She caught you with an ex-girlfriend.
Yeah. I jumped on the hood of her car since I couldn't get inside of it.
He was screaming and yelling at the most high-pitched voice.
Now,
You thought having a baby would fix this.
I thought it would make him want to be a better person.
And he just now attacks you with one arm and holds the baby with the other.
will she break off the relationship?
When was the last time he choked you out?
3 weeks ago.
A week and a half. I did the math. Hear me, look at me, make eye contact. This man is going to kill you. Let's do it. Why don't we stop all the drama, stop all the fighting, and let's go get you better.
Here we go. Have a good show, everybody.
If I can help get this family back on track, are you willing to do that?
Ready, free. Take.
This is going to be a changing day in your life. Go, Dr. Phil. How you doing? I want you to listen to a fight between our first guests, Tim and Brittany.
Let me in! Let me in! Let me in! Please, let me in! Brittany, let me in! Let me in!
That's Tim's voice you hear. He's pleading with his girlfriend, Brittany, after she caught him red-handed with another woman. Brittany used a GPS tracking device on her phone to sneak up on Tim. But that's just the tip of the iceberg. There have been plenty of other fights. Brittany says Tim even gave her 2 black eyes and a broken nose. Yet through all of this, she stays with him and now is considering marrying him.
Tim and I fight all the time. He's the most evil, condescending, abusive person I've ever met in my life.
I can be extremely violent.
The smallest thing can set Tim off. I would definitely call Tim a ticking time bomb.
Or like a landmine. If you don't tread carefully and you step on me, it's just, it'll explode.
He will get 2 inches from my face to where he's spitting and will just yell and scream and degrade me.
My goal is definitely to intimidate her.
Our fights definitely get physical.
I've punched Brittany in the face, kicked her, given her a concussion.
Tim has choked me.
I'll wrap my whole arm around her neck, putting as much force behind it as I can. When I feel her body go limp, and then I'll start to let go.
One time I threw away Tim's fast food and he freaked out.
I balled up my fist, reared back as far as I could, and I punched Brittany in the face.
Tim broke my nose. I was bleeding everywhere.
That continued to make me more mad, the fact that she was getting blood on the floor.
He made me get in the bathtub with all my clothes on and told me I need to clean my mess up. And then he just sat there staring at me in the bathtub, washing the blood off myself. My entire face looked morphed. I couldn't even recognize myself. Both my eyes were black. I sometimes think that he could kill me.
Sometimes I feel like I can't control myself. My biggest fear about myself is that I may go so far as to take her life.
Well, Tim says he fights with Brittany and sometimes does it in front of their daughter, Kelly. Now, in fact, he admits holding their infant in one arm while choking Brittany with the other.
In the moment, I don't think Tim knows exactly what he's doing.
I'm just in such a blind rage that the only thing that I care about is she has done something to make me feel disrespected, and so I'm going to do something that is going to hurt her.
Usually after a fight, Tim will not show remorse.
I don't feel any kind of emotion or regret. It's only after I'll see her either crying or in more severe cases I'll see her bleeding that I'll realize exactly what I've done.
Tim always thinks it's my fault. I deserved it. I disrespected him, so he had to show me how upset he was.
Brittany has had 2 pregnancies. When Brittany was about 7 weeks pregnant with the first child, we had gotten in an extremely violent fight.
He pushed me down on the bed, pinned my arms back, and sat on my stomach. I was crying hysterically. I didn't know what to do.
A couple of weeks later, when Brittany's pregnancy had reached 9 weeks and 2 days, we found out that the baby's heartbeat had stopped.
I feel like Tim's physical abuse may have contributed to my miscarriage.
I do not feel like I contributed to that miscarriage. Brittany and I have a 6-month-old daughter.
We fight in front of our daughter a lot. Tim has held our daughter while we're fighting.
I use it as a control to have some kind of leverage over Brittany.
One time he was holding our daughter and with the other arm put me in a chokehold and choked me.
I'm afraid that one day I may go too far and in the process of hurting Brittany, hurt my daughter as well.
Okay, I've got a question for each of you to start with. What the hell are you thinking?
A lot of times, I'm not really thinking at all when those things happen.
What the hell are you thinking?
I honestly don't know why I stayed in the situation.
Because I have to tell you, people across America right now are looking at their television sets and thinking, what? Seriously, you've seen this show before, right?
Yes.
You've watched the show before?
Yes.
You know that we have a national campaign here called End the Silence on Domestic Violence. It's a very important campaign. We've done a number of shows on this to raise awareness with couples like yourselves. I've fought that fight here. I've taken this fight to Capitol Hill. We've talked about this. We've talked about how important it is to stop this. I've counted 9 distinct instances where you acknowledge that you have attacked her in what I believe to be life-threatening ways. Would you agree?
I agree.
The first time, she says the first time you were abusive, you got on top of her and yelled at her 2 inches from her face. The second time she was trying to get away, you grabbed her, threw her into the wall, left a big hole. When she tried to get away the second time, you got on top of her and put your forearm up against her neck. The third time, she was 7 weeks pregnant, you sat on her. And 2 weeks later, you had a miscarriage, correct?
That's true.
You say you don't think you caused the miscarriage. You think that he contributed to it.
Definitely.
But the facts are that 2 weeks later, you had a miscarriage.
Yes.
The fourth time, you drove home so erratically that you were bouncing her around the car on purpose, right? You would jerk the car so she was rattling around inside the car. And then you pulled her out of the car, pushed her to the ground, and she got a concussion hitting her head on the concrete.
That's right.
Okay. And there was a fifth time, because you keep coming back for more, right? The fifth time, you had a fist fight. You punched her in the head repeatedly. You tore out like hair extensions and opened a wound on her head. The sixth time, you held her against the outside of your apartment and punched her in the side of the head. The seventh time, you broke her nose because she threw a burrito out the window. You had fast food, she threw it out the window, and so you punched her in the nose, right?
Right.
At that point, she went to the ground, right?
That's correct.
And you continued punching her.
I didn't continue punching her after she fell to the ground. I did, however, get in her face again. I started yelling at her, calling her names, calling her stupid.
Telling me to clean up the blood.
Telling her to clean up, asking her why she had thrown my food out the window.
You just said telling you to clean up the blood, and when you said that, you smiled and are smiling right now. You have to explain that to me.
It's a smile of embarrassment, and even though it happened, I still can't believe that it happened that way.
He says to you, get in the bathroom, you're getting blood on the floor.
That's right.
So you're punching her till she bleeds, and then you're criticizing her for getting blood on the floor. That made you madder.
Mm-hmm.
It did.
The next morning you say, wow, your face is really swollen. I think I broke your nose.
Right.
He almost acted like it made him feel powerful because he knew he was strong enough to break somebody's nose.
The eighth time you pushed her down to the ground and her head bounced off the floor, the wooden floor, you deny that. The ninth time, you choked her and squeezed her face with your hand. So what do you say about all this?
I mean, you know, hearing it all back again and thinking about the times that I had actually done that, it makes me feel really disgusted with myself. To know that I had put her through that kind of pain. I mean, I couldn't imagine if somebody was doing that to me, you know, what that would feel like.
How do you feel about it? I mean, you've put her through the pain. I mean, she's sitting right here. How do you feel about it?
I mean, honestly, words could never express to her how sorry I am for the things that I've put her through. And I can't even put into words how disgusted I am with myself to know that I've created basically a living hell for her.
You thought having a baby would make Tim change?
Yes, I didn't intentionally have a baby for that purpose, but yes, when I found out I was pregnant, I thought it would make him want to seek help, yes, and be a better person. I thought it would change, yes.
But it didn't. He just now attacks you with one arm and holds the baby with the other. We'll talk about that when we come back. You have said he's going to blow up on your daughter and hurt her or kill her.
I'm really scared that he will.
I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. I'm trying to keep you out of the penitentiary.
When Tim and I get into fights, he will not let me leave the house.
Every time that she tries to go outside, I'll stand in front of the door, I'll lock the door. I have taken Brittany's cell phone away to prevent her from calling anybody to get help.
I will try to bang on walls so that neighbors can hear me when I know something bad's gonna happen.
I've run outside after her and I've pulled her back into the house.
Once when I was 7 months pregnant, Tim didn't want me to leave the house, so he pulled me back so hard that I fell backwards and banged my head against the wood floor.
After I've gotten her back in the house, I have continued to hit her. I felt like she was just running away from me and it continued to make me mad.
My fear when he prevents me from leaving the house is that he'll become so infuriated that he beats me and just does not stop, or just decide to get a knife and stab me. There's no telling.
I'm curious about your thinking here, because you have said that when you're gone, sometimes you expect to pull up to the house and see police cars and ambulance because you expect that he's going to blow up on your daughter and hurt her or kill her. But yet you leave her with him?
I've only done it because I wanted to trust him with her. He's never shown any signs towards Callie. I just have that fear that she might just cry too much and make him angry, and he would just, I mean, he's never done anything to actually make me think that. I'm really scared that he will.
So your gut's telling you this?
When I turn the corner, it's like a flashback. I can see the ambulance and I can just, I don't want that to happen. I don't think he would do that to her, but
well,
I don't know.
In case lightning strikes me before we have to take a break, let me get something said to you. I've just written a new book, the first time in years, and you haven't read it yet because it isn't even out. It's called Life Code, and it's a real family affair because I've written it and it's published by my son's publishing company, Bird Street Books. And one of the things in Life Code says, you need to learn to listen to your instincts. You need to learn to listen to your gut. And your mama might have told you that you give people the benefit of the doubt, but I tell you that that is an outdated story. That you don't give people the benefit of the doubt. You listen to your gut. You look at the data and you make informed decisions, because we live in a different world today than we did 10, 15, 20 years ago. And if your maternal instinct, your gut instinct is telling you something, the Life Code says you need to hear that. You don't experiment with your daughter because you want to send him a message of trust. Because isn't that a pretty high price if you're wrong?
That's true.
If he goes into this rage where he says he doesn't even know what he does, and he throws that child against the wall, you're going to feel awful silly sitting out in that car. Say, well, I wanted him to feel like I trusted him. And my friend, I'm trying to save you from yourself. I'm not trying to throw you under the bus. I'm trying to keep you out of the penitentiary.
Yeah.
How you are not spending time for multiple felony assaults and/or attempted murder, I have no idea. And I want to save you from that, because you're not a bad guy.
Yeah.
Next, you're going to find out what Tim was doing just before the police hauled him off to jail in just his socks and underwear. And you've heard about his attacks, but you haven't heard what concerns me the most. You're going to hear about that next.
Tim freaked out. He jumped out of the car with only his boxers on.
I jumped on the hood of her car since I couldn't get inside of it.
He was screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs in the most high-pitched voice. After Tim broke my nose, the whole side of my face all the way around was swollen. This is my nose where it's broken, and as you can see, it is completely bent over to the side like that. Whenever I turn, it looks completely different from each side. That side has a huge lump. I feel like I always have to turn to the side slightly to even feel like I look normal.
That was Brittany showing us the damage her boyfriend Tim did when he broke her nose during one of his violent rages. Now, just 2 months ago, Brittany grew suspicious of Tim and decided to use her GPS to track him with her cell phone. You won't believe what he was doing once she found him. Take a look.
Tim has cheated on me throughout our entire relationship.
Brittany had caught me having sex with my ex.
I GPS'd his phone. I drove there and saw her car. They were in the car, struggling to get their clothes on. Tim freaked out. He jumped out of the car with only his boxers on.
I jumped on the hood of her car since I couldn't get inside of it.
He was screaming and yelling at the top of his lungs in the most high-pitched voice, pleading for me to let him in the car.
Brittany, let me in! Let me in!
I saw my entire relationship with Brittany and my daughter flash right in front of my eyes.
I sat in my car and laughed and laughed.
The police came and I was arrested.
Tim doesn't only cheat on me with women. Once I went onto his computer, I found his email flooded with Craigslist ads from men.
I have a really strong sex drive. For me, it is purely about satisfying a sexual urge. There's no emotional connection for me.
Tim has left me confused, to say the least.
I'm just trying to calm her down so that I can bring her to bed. Brittany needs to know that I'm completely finished being unfaithful to her.
I really just don't know if I could ever find myself trusting him again or believing anything that he says.
Okay, so she caught you having sex with an ex-girlfriend,
That's correct, yeah.
right?
Yeah.
And how many times have you hooked up with this ex-girlfriend?
With the same person, I'd have to estimate it. It was probably about 5 times.
Mm-hmm. How many times have you cheated on her overall?
About 11.
You've cheated with this one like 5 times. You've cheated like 11 times. And you're hooking up with guys as well. You're on Craigslist hooking up with men.
I have on occasion.
And you've done that with you in the room. You said you've been on a computer hooking up with these guys with you in the room.
Mm-hmm. It consumes, he'll be on it for a week straight, just looking constantly.
Okay, so you have no concern or consideration for what she thinks about this at all?
Well, at the time that it was consuming the majority of my time, she knew about that part of me. And there was a time during our relationship where she had actually given me permission to go on the internet to find these friends that I was looking for.
Is there any discontinuation criteria that you have? No, I'm serious. Is there any point at which you would say, okay, that's enough, because obviously he's beat the hell out of you numerous times. He's cheated on you a dozen times that we know about. You've caught him red-handed. He's hooking up with men on Craigslist. And tell me, what would be your discontinuation criteria? When would you say, okay, that's it for me? What would he have to do?
I mean, he would have to change for me to, at this point.
What would he have to do for you to say, that's enough, I've had it, I'm out of here?
Apparently, he's done pretty much anything I could possibly imagine. So I don't know what's going on to make me think it's okay.
Okay, here's what, and I'm feeling like I'm a little bit in the twilight zone here, because you're smiling and laughing through all of this, and I don't find one bit of it funny. I don't find one bit of it. And I'm sorry. I'm sorry, you're a mother. You have a child here that you're the only mother that child's ever going to have. And if you love that baby, and I know you do, you have to take care of that baby's mother. You owe it to that baby to protect her mother, and you're not doing it. You're not protecting. And I said that y'all hadn't heard what bothered me the most. Do you have any medical training?
Medical training?
Yes.
No.
See, these are quotes from you. I will grab her, put my arms around her neck, and squeeze as hard as I can. I was waiting for her to go limp and fall asleep. I usually stop choking her after 30 seconds to a minute when I can feel her relax, her muscles. Not to the point where she's passing out, because I can feel her breathing. And then I would let her go and just sit there and stare at her while she cries. Now, in addition to being beyond creepy, that is beyond dangerous. I have training, and I don't know how long I could choke someone's air supply off and not kill them. And you know what this sounds like to me? It sounds to me like what I would hear when they were questioning you about her death.
Have you ever choked Brittany?
I have choked Brittany.
Tim, have you ever punched Brittany?
I have punched Brittany.
Did you kill Brittany?
I called my staff and I said, I want you to put something together for me for Tim to look at. I want to put together a film piece for him to look at that I think is a glimpse of your future. Take a look at this.
Have you ever choked Brittany?
I have choked Brittany. I don't choke her till she passes out. I can wait till her muscles relax, and I choke her for about 30 seconds to a minute. She's still breathing, but I just wait till she goes limp.
Tim, when you get mad at Brittany, what goes through your mind?
Honestly, it's complete and utter rage. I don't really have too many thoughts at all going around my head. All I'm really concerned with doing is hurting the person who hurt me.
Tim, have you ever punched Brittany?
I have punched Brittany. I punched her in the nose and broken her nose. She became very scared for her life, and she started beating on the walls and just trying to get away from me. There was a lot of blood. She started bleeding profusely. It was just disgusting. And it actually made me even angrier that she was bleeding on the floor, and I yelled at her and made her go into the bathroom to clean herself up.
And in the past, when you have beaten her, did you try and convince Brittany that it was her fault?
I had convinced myself, and I convinced her that it was her fault. And I would say to her, why did you do this? Why did you make me do this?
Tim, I just have one last question for you. Did you kill Brittany?
Every word he spoke was a quote from you. Every word he spoke was a direct quote from you.
It's true.
So what do you think about that?
It scares me.
What do you think about that? You just saw Tim questioned about your death.
It's scary. It's just scary. I've never thought of it that way. It seems normal for it to happen, but when I see it like that, I guess.
See, it's an eerie situation because you just got to see someone questioned about your murder. And do you think they would ask him those questions if you wound up dead?
Yes,
did you
they
ever
would.
punch her? Well, yeah. Did you ever beat her up? Well, yeah, she bled all over the place. It was disgusting. And then they would ask her, did you ever choke her? Yeah, until she went limp. They would ask all of those things. The only difference is you're not dead yet.
I've moved out and I don't work and I just take care of Callie. So when I moved out, I tried to find a woman's shelter and I couldn't for 3 weeks. They were full and I couldn't get in one. I felt like I was just forced to move back in because I had no other choice. I didn't know what to do. I didn't know where to bring her.
What have you done to change this situation?
I've started the process through my health insurance at work to try to see a psychiatrist. And I was seeing one for about 5 weeks. Brought Brittany on actually a couple of visits before she decided that she didn't like the particular psychiatrist. So
He said Tim didn't have a problem. I was the problem.
I had to stop seeing that particular individual.
Okay, now wait. Time out. You're telling me you went to see a psychiatrist for 5 visits.
Yeah, I had 5 designated free visits.
Okay, and during that time, were you candid with this person?
Yes, I was.
Did you say, I go into a rage?
Yes, I did.
I've beat her, I've choked her, I've kicked her out of the car, I've beat her head on the concrete, I've done all of these things, and this professional said to you, that's okay, she's the problem. That's what you're telling me?
In a sense, he did. Yeah,
through
in a sense, he
Tim.
did.
I'm sorry?
He diagnosed me through Tim when he never asked me anything about myself.
Did you meet with him?
Yes, twice.
And he said, you're the problem, not Tim.
He has emotional issues, but he can't psychologically see anything wrong.
He told her that she needs to accept responsibility for
The abuse.
For the abuse.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, okay, let's take a break here. I need to apparently take my degree back. Despite choking her, breaking her nose, and leaving her bloody, Tim says he still wants to marry Brittany. Brittany says she'll consider marriage if he can change. Next, I'm going to share what I think about that idea. We'll be right back.
I'm extremely in love with Brittany.
I don't trust him.
I would love nothing more than to marry Brittany. I believe 100% that all the violence is over and done with.
I stay because I want my daughter to have both her mom and dad. I don't just pick up and leave because I don't know what to do. Our fights have gotten so out of control that I have called the police at least 15 times. When the police see us, they're like, oh, it's you again.
But the first thing that goes through my mind is, She's being a coward. She's resorting to the police again instead of being an adult and handling the situation between us.
Tim's already been in trouble with the law. If I were to press charges, he would be in jail for a really long time.
She just doesn't want to put me through that hell because she actually does still care.
I definitely think Tim should pay the price, go to jail, but no more than a few hours.
Brittany's boyfriend Tim admits to breaking her nose, giving her 2 black eyes, cheating on her many times. It's hard to believe she's considering marrying him. You know, the truth is, people are probably going to write me a lot of things about what I'm getting ready to say, because I don't want to put you in jail. You need help. You need serious help. Tim, despite what these, and if they were PhDs, they weren't psychiatrists. I'm embarrassed to say they were psychologists of some description. I don't know. And who knows what happened there. I know what y'all are telling me. I'm sure they would tell a very different story. I cannot believe that that's what took place. But I'm going to tell you the truth. And I'm going to tell you the truth here. And what I'm going to tell her, you need to hear, because a lot of folks won't be as compassionate as I'm being. You need to get away from her at this point, or you're going to get yourself in serious, serious trouble. It is a miracle that she is not dead. It's just a miracle. I have worked with cases of domestic violence here on this show, not nearly as egregious as what you have done, where she is dead. And this game you play of choking her until she goes limp is a dangerous, dangerous game. Because one of these times she's going to go limp and stay limp, and then you're going to go, oh no.
Yeah.
And then you have nowhere to go. Then she's gone. Then you're in jail for murder, and given your history, you're gone forever. Yeah. And then your daughter, she goes into the foster care system and has neither mother nor father. You obviously have decided that this is your only option. You've decided, hey, I guess nobody else would want me. I've got a baby, I'm unattractive, I'm non-marketable, I'm something, I don't know. Whatever you've decided. You say when you leave him, you know you'll go back. You've said that, you just know that. But let me tell you something, it is neither a gift to you, nor him, nor your child to continue what is a clearly toxic and incendiary relationship. This man is going to kill you. Do you understand what I'm telling you? This man does not mean to, and as he sits here right now, he wouldn't hurt a hair on your head. But this man is going to kill you. Hear me, look at me, make eye contact. If your daddy won't tell you, let me tell you. This man is going to kill you. He's going to kill the mother of your child if you don't get away from him. Do you hear me talking?
Yes.
You hear me telling you?
Yes.
Let me tell you something he wrote down. He is telling us that what he is doing, he is saying he cannot stop. He's telling us, I know this is wrong. I know it's wrong. Dr. Phil, I know it's wrong. I'm telling you, I can't not do it. Correct? You don't know how to stop.
Yeah, when I get angry, I don't know how to stop until time just passes by.
And when was the last time he choked you out?
3 weeks ago.
A week and a half.
Oh.
I did the math.
Okay.
10 days, a week and a half ago. So this is an acute problem, and it is a chronic problem. This is a right now problem. It is both long-term and acute. This is now. Do you hear me? Tell me you hear me.
I hear you.
Tell me what I just told you.
I need to get away.
What did I just tell you he's going to do?
Kill me.
Say it. He is going to kill me. I heard you tell me he's going to kill me.
I heard you tell me he's going to kill me.
Okay, I need to know you heard me say that.
I heard you.
He doesn't want to. He doesn't mean to. He will feel terrible when he does.
So do I just leave him absent as a father?
We will talk about that in a minute. You need to get away from the immediate danger. You are a monster that can do things that are atrocious. I am not going to enable you to kill this woman. You need to get away from the immediate danger. Do you understand?
Yes.
Okay. Do you agree with that?
I don't know.
You don't agree with it. You believe that she needs to stay with you.
I believe that I can change and give her the life that I know.
You might. That may be true. Listen, that may be true. And I'm going to help you. I'm going to get you true help. I'm going to get you real help right now to start moving you in that direction. Okay? And I'm going to get you real help. Okay? Yeah. I'm going to get you real help. But I'm going to get you real help on a condition. And the condition is you stay away from this woman until that professional, a real professional, tells you that you are safe to be around her. And I can tell you it's going to be in what I call successive approximations. It's going to be in small doses. It's going to be with boundaries. It's going to be in a controlled way until you begin to do it. And the truth is, I don't think you have ever had any help. I think you have got some things going on with you mentally, emotionally, and neurologically that have never been dealt with. I don't think you have coping skills. And I think you get into a neurological storm where you do, in fact, black out. Yeah. And when you go into that blackout rage, you are not the Tim that is sitting here. You are a monster that can do things that are atrocious. Yeah. And for that reason, she should not be around you right now until you can be around her with confidence that you will not go back into that dark place. And frankly, I don't think that will be very long. You've been doing some really bad things, but it's the same problem over and over. Yeah. You've just never had anybody minister to you. You've never had anybody help you. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to fly you into Dallas, Texas, to the P&P Center. And I send a lot of people there because I think it is the best. I think this is the best diagnostic and treatment center in the country. Okay. And I'm going to ask Dr. Frank Lawless personally to assemble a team to evaluate you top, side, and bottom. We're going to look at you on a blood level, biochemically, hormonally. We're going to look for heavy metals in your brain. We're going to do all kinds of neurological evaluations with you, and then we're going to start giving you some tools. But I am only going to do this if you agree to leave this woman alone until that's done. Okay. And if you don't, I'm out. Because I am not going to enable you to kill this woman. That's the condition. You either stay away from her or I'm out. Okay. It's just that simple. Now, you either go home and tell your family what's really going on, and you stay with them, or you go to a shelter and I will find you one. I will get you help. Hear me when I say this, just like I said he's going to kill you. Hear this. What he's doing is not your fault. You don't elicit it. You don't maintain it. This comes from inside out of him. Tell her that's true.
That is true. Everything that I've done to her it's been my decision. It's in my control.
It's not you. What Tim does after one of his rages, it's a classic step in the cycle of domestic violence. We'll talk about that when we come back. What I want you two to understand here, and this is so important, Tim, and you'll recognize this, and I think you'll recognize it too. And all of you at home, there is a cycle of domestic abuse. Usually tension builds to a boiling point, and there's a blow up with violence, okay? Then guilt, promises, guilt, gifts, apologies. And then there's a brief period of calm and normalcy. And then back to tension again. And it just keeps going in a cycle. So tension builds, then acute battering, then there's the honeymoon phase and the calm, and then it comes around again. But it always comes around again, and this can happen hundreds of times in a relationship. Get off of that merry-go-round. Do it, but do it safely. And what you need to do is go to drphil.com. We're going to have resources there for you that talk about how to do this and do it safely. Or you can go to nnedv.org and you can talk to the domestic violence hotline at 1-800-799-SAFE. That's 1-800-799-7233. All of these places have information for you that help you protect yourself in a safe way. Now, you can always find me on Twitter, Facebook, and we'll be talking about this some more. Thanks for being here today. So long.